So let's start. Aortic stenosis, how we gonna see the site? We know the site, it will be present in the aortic area. See, whenever we talk about the mitral area, it is the apex of the heart. The base of the heart is actually high above near the uh, second intercostal space. Okay, so loudest at the base of the heart. So we know that it is loudest at the base of the heart because it is the aortic valve pathology, aortic stenosis. Okay, it is crescendo decrescendo. What is the meaning of the crescendo decrescendo murmur in case of any murmur? It means that it increases, that is crescendo, then it is decreasing, then decrescendo. Okay, so we know that it is crescendo decrescendo. This you need to remember, you need to mug up, because murmurs, it will be asked to you very instantly and you have to answer very instantly, so it needs a bit of a mugging up. So it is crescendo decrescendo, it is ejection murmur because it is systolic, right? And the systolic in case of aortic and pulmonary, we use the word ejection. It is loudest as the heart base and radiates to the carotid. See, why does it radiate to carotid? Let's see. Now, when the valve will be stenosed, see, you can see the stenosis of the valve in case of the aortic stenosis. So, when there is aortic stenosis, a pressure is generated and the blood through the valve will come with a huge pressure and directly hit the other coming vessels forward, right? So whatever vessels are present next to it, it will directly hit a streak of the blood to the vessels, and actually which vessels are present which we can actually auscultate, those are carotids, right? The vessels that are present near the aorta, directly coming from the aorta, which we can auscultate, are carotids, so we can have the radiation of the murmur into the carotids in case of aortic stenosis. So this thing, that is the radiates to carotid. Now we know why they are saying like this. Okay. Now we have the soft S2 plus minus ejection click. Why is there soft S2? We will talk about this. I have also told in my previous videos, but we will talk about this later. Okay. Uh, that's it. Now next one is the mitral regurgitation. Now you know it is opposite. These are the systolic murmurs, aortic stenosis, mitral or tricuspid regurgitation. Now this is the hollow systolic. Hollow systolic is, it means there is no crescendo decrescendo pattern. It goes and have almost the same intensity throughout the systole. Okay, so it is not increasing or decreasing. It is of the same intensity, and it is kind of a blowing murmur. You know, when there are regurgitation, you have a blowing sound. You need to know that here it was something you need to mug up, that is crescendo decrescendo, and in case of the mitral regurgitation, you need to know it is a blowing murmur, that is high pitched. Only very three things are low pitched in the cardiology. Three sounds are low pitched, which are actually heard by the bell of the stethoscope. We will learn about it later. Okay. Now we have the MR, that obviously what will be the site? It will be the mitral area. Okay. Whenever we have something in the mitral area, usually it radiates to the axilla. Usually. So it will radiate to the axilla. Now, in case of the tricuspid area is the main site. This we know. Okay. Now we come to pathology, also known as the mitral valve prolapse. See, mitral valve prolapse, I'll tell you what happens in that, and you can easily tell what type of murmur is it. Okay. So, mitral valve prolapse is similar to regurgitation, but in uh, in addition to regurgitation, there are mitral valve leaflets actually bulge into the atria. So when it will bulge, whenever there will be contraction in the ventricle, right? So it will be a systolic murmur. Now let's see. Mitral valve prolapse, it is a crescendo murmur, but it is late crescendo murmur. That is, it actually occurs in the later part of the systole. Obviously, whenever the ventricle is contracting, first the valves will close and then actually it will prolapse. So at the later part of the contraction, it will prolapse. So it is a late crescendo. Now this thing you need to mug up, it is a crescendo murmur. Obviously, as the as the ventricle contracts and more pressure is built up, it will go higher and higher up into the atrium. It will prolapse more, so it will be a crescendo. That is the increasing pattern murmur. See, increasing pattern murmur, and with the mid-systolic click that occurs after the carotid pulse. Okay, the clicks and the ejections we will do later. Okay, so best heard, what is the site? Obviously, it is the it should be the I mean it should be the mitral, but it should be the mitral, so it is best heard at the over the apex. Now it is heard just before S2. So you can see systole is basically S1 and S2, and it is heard just before the S2. Okay. So we have the ventricular septal defect. Again,